Lesson 6.1 is about populations and samples, and we're continuing our unit that we started about data, or we also call it statistics, and we're going to use information in this unit such as mean, median, mode, and range to further investigate populations and samples and make comparisons. A population is just an entire group. A sample is just part of the population. So a sample could be the result of a survey that will take just a part of a population and ask them a question to determine what the entire population might think. Now, a sample can be representative, which would be a fair representation of a population, or it could be not representative, and we sometimes call that biased. For example, if you were to ask a group of football players what is their favorite sport, that's not going to be a fair representation. That would be biased because obviously they like football since they're playing that. But if you were to ask every fifth student that walked in the school building in the morning what their favorite sport is, then you'd get a good sample, a representative, fair sample of the population. Example 1, we're going to determine if each sample is representative or biased. Part A, the first 20 people exiting a movie are surveyed to find out what type of movie people in the town prefer. Well, this one would be called biased. If you were asking these people who came out of the same movie what kind of movie they prefer, we already know they like the movie that they're coming out of because they went to watch it. So that wouldn't really be fair. Part B, Amy surveys 5 students from each class in the school to determine the average time students watch TV in the school. Well, she's getting a sample from every class, so this would appear to be a representative sample. It represents everybody. It seems fair, so it's representative. Now, a sample can also be used to make a prediction for an entire population. Example 2, 63 students out of 100 surveyed play video games weekly. Predict how many students in a school of 872 students play video games weekly. First, we're going to start by setting up a proportion. We're going to compare a sample for our first ratio to the population for our second ratio in our proportion. So you have a fraction equal a fraction. And we know this amount. We know the sample was 63 out of 100. We know the population was 872 total. What we don't know is how many students there are that play video games weekly. So that's going to be X. That's our unknown. So we're going to solve this proportion for X, and that'll tell us what you would expect or predict to be the number of students who play video games each week. So we cross multiply 100 times X is 100X, and 63 times 872 is 54,936. Now we're going to divide both sides by 100 to get X by itself. We're just solving a little proportion. And we find that X is 549.36. And since we can't have a decimal amount of students, they're people, you have to round, we can say it's about 549 students. And we're finished. We've made a prediction.